Let's head to the South region, 16 versus 1. Alabama State and Auburn from Lexington, Kentucky. Janai Broome going up against Alabama State, who played in a thriller against St. Francis in the first 4. Hornets down 8 when C.J. Hines gets the tough floater to go to cut that to a half dozen. Ensuing Hornets possession, Hines missing the 3, but Ubong Okon snagging the rebound. It's a 4-point game, down 5 now. T.J. Madlock just beyond the free throw line. Caps off an 11-1 run. Late first half. It's a 1-point game, folks. And Broome gets it down low. And one count it. On the free throw attempt, misses, but Denver Jones gets it. It's going to kick it out eventually to Miles Kelly. What a day he had shooting the rock today. Tigers up 6. He drained 7 threes, did Kelly, in this game. More on that in just a second. 10 seconds left to go in the half. Tahad Pettiford puts the Tigers up 10, capped off a 9-0 run. Boy, then after that, it was all Tigers in the second half. Dylan Cardwell making it an 18-point game. A few plays later, Broome with the block. Auburn in transition. Kelly, Euro steps, put the Tigers up 20. That fan, yeah. Mid-second half, Broome going to work inside the post, and Auburn wins this one 83-63. And for Bruce Pearl, most tournament wins in school history with 8. Here's Allie LaForce with Pearl after the game.
14th NCAA tournament appearance as a head coach. Was this an acceptable first appearance for this team?
It's acceptable. You know, we got to sharpen some things up. You know, we didn't play great. Good thing is we saw zone, we saw man, saw a lot of different things. Alabama State makes you think a little bit. We're going to play a lot better to beat Creighton on Saturday.
That's the 12 seed in you, right?
That's the 12 seed.
Thank you, Coach. Well, Miles, congratulations on another great game here in Rupp Arena. At this point, we're the lucky ones that get to see you play here. 30 points March 1st, 23 tonight. Do you want to just pitch a tent at this point before Saturday?
I mean, for sure. My teammates did a great job tonight of finding me. Like I said before, I love these rims. I love Rupp Arena. And they did a great job of finding me. All I had to do was knock down the shots.
How does a win like this give the team that pep in the step, that extra confidence going into Saturday?
I mean, it gives us a great pep. This is one game of 6. So we just got to keep going, lock in from the film, learn from it, and get better and get ready for Saturday.
All right, we'll see you then. Thanks so much, Miles.
Of course.
What a tournament debut for Miles Kelly. I mentioned those 7 threes. Ties a school record for most threes in a tournament game. Bryce Brown against Kansas did so in 2019. And I also mentioned Bruce Pearl, most wins in school history in the tournament. He passed Sonny Smith and now has 8. I'm Tommy Tran, joined now by Jacqueline D'Agostino, John Henson, and Mike O'Donnell to break down this 16v1 game. And John, I'm going to give you first word because there was a moment late in the first half when Alabama State actually had an opportunity to take a lead on some free throws. They didn't. The rest of the way, it was all Tigers. How'd they get it done?
Defensively, I think the slippage with Auburn has been on the defensive end. You know, they shot 37%. Alabama State did 37% from the field, 24 from 3. So I think that part of the game was good for them. But I'm concerned about Auburn. They did not look particularly sharp today. A lot of kind of sloppy play, turnovers, things that aren't going to work. You may be able to do that against Creighton even a little bit, because I think matchup-wise, Auburn's got the guards to overwhelm them. But right now, Auburn's got to figure it out. They do not look like the #1 overall seed, to me.
Yeah, I think one of the concerns statistically that I have, number one, there were a couple of them, was they gave up 28 points in the paint. You're about to face Ryan Kalkbrenner in the post here, and so that needs to get fixed right away. John, I mean, you know about that. I don't know anything about paint points, but I know you know that more than I do. I don't know if this next stat deserves an asterisk or not, but against a team like Creighton, which I think everybody at this table expects to be a great game, a really fun game, Auburn was 18 of 32 from the free throw line. That is very, very bad in the regular season. That is very concerning if that continues in the NCAA tournament, where possessions are every possession against Creighton is going to be at a premium. And so if you can manufacture points at all at the free throw line, you have to take advantage of that. 18 to 32 from the line, that won't cut it. I think the numbers will eventually catch up, but that's a concern I have against a team like Creighton.
Lack of focus. I think that's all that is. Auburn, you know, they've been at the mountaintop for, I mean, essentially the last 2 years. So it's tough. You've got to sustain that momentum. You've got to sustain excellence. And right now, Auburn looks to be teetering on that line. We'll see what happens against Creighton.
Yeah, and Tommy, you mentioned it. There was a point there right before the first half, going into halftime, where it was a one-point game. We thought, hey, are we on upset alert here? When it's all said and done, though, I know we talked about, you know, all the things that went wrong. They still won by 20. How important is that, Mike, to get that final score on the board when you lost 3 of the last 4 going into the tournament and didn't really look like the Auburn that we were talking about, you know, the whole body of work and all the quad 1 wins? How important is that to get that win by 20 moving on to the next round?
I think it's really easy for us to sit behind this table and nitpick Auburn, who's been the best team from top to bottom throughout the course of the season. It's a great question, Jacqueline. And I think the concerns that we have are, if you look at the last 10 games and you're supposed to be playing your best basketball, John knows this a lot better than me. I mean, when you lose rhythm, sometimes it's really, really, really hard to get it back. But if you win a game in the NCAA tournament, it wasn't a clean game, but you get the win, you kind of can shake loose those cobwebs a little bit. So I have concerns. I'm saying that to also say that Auburn absolutely can advance to the Sweet 16 and Elite 8. They're that good. I think the concerns comes from, it really frustrates me to say this because I'm not cool enough to say this phrase. Like, they don't have the same kind of juice that they did in the first 15.
Enough to say
no,
juice.
I'm definitely
yes,
not.
You are.
But they don't. But if you go back and you watch the film in the first 15 games of the season, it was like they were foaming at the mouth, attacking. Everything was efficient and physical and gritty and tough. And I don't see as much of that now.
I agree. The swag is kind of lowered a little bit. But that happens when you lose 3 out of 4. Basketball is a rhythm and a confidence sport. So when you lose 3 out of 4 games, it shakes it. So Auburn's got to figure it out quickly, because right now they're fine, but the second weekend, Sweet 16, they're going to play against a team that could beat them and send them home. So a little bit of concern how they looked, because, you know, we talked about Auburn's the #1 rated team. Alabama State is, I guess, the last 16 in. So, yes, the 20-point looks good, but we saw what Houston did today.
Yeah.
So that should give you some kind of precipice of what a #1 seed should look like in the first game.
At the very least, they got farther than they did last year. Yale beat them in the first round in a 13-4 matchup here. Before I let you guys...
No ejections. So
no, and that certainly helped as well. Yes. And moving forward here, only 3% of people filling out their brackets had Creighton getting to the Sweet 16 through Auburn, most likely, in a lot of those instances. Just early thoughts on what's going to be the difference in this game, and what's the early lead? Mike, I'll give you first word, what we're seeing here, Auburn and Creighton.
How does Auburn guard Ryan Kalkbrenner? And in particular, do they hunt him while they're on offense? I think it's going to be in a really interesting X's and O's matchup. So defensively, you can do a lot of different things on Kalkbrenner. You're going to have to, you can't give him the same look, #1. Well, he'll find an angle, he'll find a way. When Kalkbrenner is on defense, I think he's the best defender in college basketball. He's easily the best rim protector. They're going to play that drop coverage. John, Auburn runs the flex offense like it's the 1970s with a little bit of a 2000s, you know, twist to it. But if they just continue to run that flex, what do you think Kalkbrenner's going to do? He's going to sit in the post. He's going to wait. He's going to wait, and he's going to wait. Making threes is a huge, huge key for Auburn in that game. They took 35 threes against Alabama State. They hit 11, but they took 35.
Yeah, Janai Broom's going to have to keep Kalkbrenner occupied. He might have to step out and adjust his game a little bit. I don't think banging down low with the 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, National Defensive Player of the Year, is going to work for him. He struggles with length and size, which is what Kalkbrenner is. But I think the guard play, I think the guard play is just by far on Auburn's side. They come at you in waves, and I think that'll be the deciding factor of the game. I think Kalkbrenner and Janai Broom are probably going to cancel each other out, per se. It's going to give you a kind of a battle of titans down there, and the guards will have to win the game.
So a lot of brackets have Auburn going to a Final Four, going to an Elite 8. Two-part question, how far did you have them going, and is that changed in your mind? I know you can't technically change it, but would you change it based off of the performance that you saw against Alabama State?
I'm a little wary of them getting to the Final Four. I had them going to the Final Four, but today I'm a little scared. But there's never been a team to lose 3 out of 4 at the end of the season and win a national championship, so that would be the first ever. So I do have them bowing out in the Final Four, but I do have them going far. I think they have the experience and the talent to get through their region.
Bruce Pearl knows what he's doing. I think their path to the Elite Eight is fine. I think getting to the Final Four is going to be a struggle. I've actually got them against Michigan State in the Elite Eight, but Michigan State advancing. This is an Auburn team. I want to love them, and I did. For 80% of the season, I loved them. I watched them like this is one of the best teams in the SEC that we've seen in the last couple of years. And then something happened. A light switch turned off. And they became inconsistent. Going into the SEC tournament, they didn't score more than 70 points before they got to the SEC tournament. That's an issue.
And you
Those
worry,
last 2 games.
And you worry about, is the SEC, did that wear them down? Just, I mean, you got to go to Alabama, then Kentucky, and then Tennessee comes home, and then you got to go to Vanderbilt. So you wonder kind of if it's just they got worn down. And we kind of talked about this earlier in the season, and it's like, hey, is the SEC going to be a gauntlet and teams going to falter? Auburn looks like a team that may have kind of topped out and wore down a little bit.
John, you forgot to mention when Florida went there and beat them.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I got the Gators winning, so I'm on your team.
Okay,
I'm team you. So.
You can leave it to Jackson. She'll always remind you. Saturday, Creighton and Auburn. By the way, the Blue Jays 0-3 all-time against 1 seeds in the NCAA tournament. It's March Madness Live. You can watch every men's game in the round of 64, round of 32, Sweet 16. You get the point. Sign up, get locked in, and enjoy every game.